The COVID-19 pandemic really shook many components of our daily lives. Everything from politics to civil rights to spending time in the park was really affected by it. Some even say that our faith in the Canadian healthcare system has also been damaged. Even before the pandemic, many were saying that Western medicine of Alberta Health is a broken system. But what are the alternatives? Are there really any? Today we're joined by Cami Tanner of Urban Apothecary here in Lethbridge, who maybe has some answers to some of these questions. Cami, welcome to Bridge City News.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Now, Cami, you have a vision of natural health that may be a little bit different from what we're accustomed to here in Canada. Can you explain what that vision really is?
Yeah, we have opened up a shop that brings in a lot of natural products to help heal the body. Things like herbs and mushrooms that are grown in nature that work to really heal different problems within the body.
I'm even looking behind you there. You've got a few different, maybe some licorice and some, what else have you got behind you there?
We've got some mugwort, we've got chamomile, we have a whole range of different herbs. It almost seems like a little Harry Potter in here, but it's fun.
Now, do you believe that there's a natural remedy for many human ailments or diseases?
Absolutely. There's a number of things that are grown naturally that work to heal the body. We always look at, our body was grown and created from the elements of the earth, and so are the plants. And they work in harmony with each other.
Now, can you really explain how you got into this aspect of health?
Absolutely. I've always been a big believer in growing things yourself, growing your own garden, because not only is it more nutritious for you, it tastes better and it's healthier than things that are you're buying from even just the grocery store. And so we have worked to study more and more about plants, starting from that basic level of growing our own garden and healthy eating that way to the whole medicinal aspect of plants and how they work with the body.
So do you think more Canadians nowadays, Cami, are actually growing their own food and having bigger gardens, especially during the
Ab-
pandemic?
Absolutely, especially since the pandemic. And now with grocery store prices rising, we find even more and more people are wanting to grow their own food, be more self-sufficient, and know exactly how their food is grown and where it's coming from.
So from your experience, which vegetables do you think have some of the highest nutrients and some of the best vitamins to help us in our daily health routines?
Ooh, that's a big question because so many different plants have so many different constituents that grow. But some of my favorites are things that we call adaptogens. So they go into the body and they don't just heal one thing, but they adapt to the body of different problems. So if you're having memory loss, let's go help heal that. If you're having high blood pressure, cholesterol, some of those would include mucuna, ashwagandha, lucuma, different herbs like that.
So how about for memory loss then? What would you recommend?
We do lion's mane mushroom. That is one of the highest level of helping heal the brain. There are studies that have actually been done on lion's mane mushroom with people with Alzheimer dementia and actually reversing those symptoms, even Parkinson's.
Wow. Now, would your ideas toward health be more aligned with traditional Eastern medicine? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. They are the masters at mushrooms and herbs for healing the body because they believe that it's not just a physical healing, but a spiritual healing as well. Everything works harmoniously with each other. Western medicine seems to be more pharmaceutical based.
You know what's interesting though? I love mushrooms myself, and I can't get enough of them, especially on pizzas and my salads. You know, really does portobello mushrooms. I love them. But many of my family can't stand mushrooms. They're always picking them off all the time, and they want to get rid of them. So, are there any alternatives as opposed to the mushrooms for those in my family who really can't stand being a fun guy or a fun girl with these mushrooms?
There are different alternatives both in herb and then the form that you take them. So we get a lot of people that come in here that cannot stand mushrooms either. But if you're doing it in a tincture form, which is just a dropper full of an extraction of the mushroom, it's much easier to take, and then you're not dealing with texture issues either.
Are all mushrooms created equally, or do some have better components when it comes to helping us heal?
All mushrooms are very healing, but mushrooms have different healing properties and aspects to it. Like I said, lion's mane is for the brain. Reishi mushroom is really good for helping with stress and anxiety and also for liver support function. So there are hundreds of varieties of mushrooms. They all do their own special thing and unique thing to the body.
So Cami, do you personally feel that our current healthcare system may be a little broken or missing some very important elements?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at anywhere else where the medical schools are teaching in the world, and they really do a 50-50 education basis of both pharmaceutical and plant healing, where in Western medication, it's 100% pharmaceutical based. And so, we really are missing out on some beautiful healing aspects that are so much more beneficial to the body than what we're normally used to in Western medical society.
Why do you think it is a lot of times the naturopaths don't get the recognition or respect they deserve?
I think we've just, and not to say there's anything wrong with, medical system. Well, let's just say there's a lot of people that think that naturopaths are just hocus pocus and that they've just put blind faith in the medical system in pharmaceuticals and not really doing their background and education for themselves on how those really affect the body and how they really heal or treat.
How about some vegetables that may help with during the COVID-19 pandemic and help to maybe not necessarily heal, but maybe help offset some of the symptoms people suffering from severe viruses?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of plants out there that are antiseptic that help support the immune system. Like shiitake mushrooms are really great for helping with immunity. And there are things that we can take both to increase our adrenal system, our immunity, and symptoms of having contracted the COVID-19 virus, as well as other psychological problems with depression and things like that that come from isolation during the pandemic.
And a lot of these products are safe for all age demographics, not necessarily just middle-aged people like myself, but maybe seniors and children as well?
We always recommend that with children, smaller doses always, but we always like to ask people to go to their naturopaths and get their advice, especially when it comes to children, because we never know how with the growing bodies how they may react to it. So we always like to just get the naturopath's recommendations when it comes to that, but always smaller doses for sure.
I have a lot of friends and family as well that suffer from insomnia, sleep deprivation. Is there anything that can really help them naturally in that regard?
Absolutely. We have a lot of those things. Like I said, reishi mushroom is really, really great, as well as ashwagandha. Anytime people come into the store and they say, oh, I have this problem or I have this problem, we always go, oh, we've got a mushroom for that. And there truly is a mushroom for just about every problem that the body can go through.
Now, do you feel that there is a way for families to be healthier and happier through natural ways outside of Western medical philosophy? Let's look at the big picture here, Cami.
One of the easiest things is growing a garden. Start growing your own food naturally. You're growing it and eating it right off the vine, straight out of the garden, so you're not dealing with respiration process or travel time from growing it in different areas and having it transported. You're getting the maximum amount of nutrients. Plus, going out and getting some sunshine and vitamin D is one of the healthiest things you can do. And those are simple things.
Yeah, the vitamin D and a little bit of exercise, which is good for the heart as well, right? Taking your dog for a walk, going for a bit of a run, or just a walk around the neighborhood, right? Something very simple like that can make a big difference.
Absolutely.
Now, can you talk a bit about the Doctrine of Signature? What is it exactly?
Yeah, that is looking at different plants that replicate different parts of the body and healing that part of the body. So a lot of things that we also like to look and utilize is even flower essences. So you look at echinacea, for example, it looks like a shield. So when you're taking echinacea, that shields the body. It protects the body.
That's interesting. Now, would you recommend having raw vegetables as opposed to cooking them? Or sometimes is it more beneficial to cook the vegetables to release some of the maybe some of the oxidants, some of the healing properties within the vegetable itself?
There are some things like tomatoes where they are more beneficial when they're cooked, but for the most part, you should be eating almost a 50% raw diet. Your body works better with raw vegetables than it does cooked vegetables because when you're eating cooked food, it actually changes the molecular structure of the plant. And your body starts to look at that as an invader of the body. And so it'll actually increase the immune system and the white blood count cell to go and attack that food. And so when it's eat in a raw form, it's a more natural form. The way that your body is more natural. So it will utilize it more beneficial.
Now, Cami, let's dig a little bit deeper into plants for health. The Bible talks about the Balm of Gilead. Can you talk about where this plant actually comes from and how beneficial it is?
Those are actually the pods from like the balsam poplar tree and a black cottonwood tree. And it's the sticky resin that comes off of those pods that is turned into a balm or a salve used for healing. The Gilead comes from the actual location of where that originated from. But it helps with anything from healing aspect to inflammation to pain.
Also, people suffering from arthritis as well, or maybe have an injury, something is swollen with the joint. May that help in that regard too?
Absolutely, yes.
Now, here in Southern Alberta, agriculture is a key industry. Are there growers in Southern Alberta who supply what you and Tony use when helping other people?
There are. I mean, you can look at a lot of like the herb aspect. Peppermint, mint, basil. There's a lot of herb growers here that you can utilize and that we utilize to use for some of the things that we make.
Now, with the hot Southern Alberta summer on the way, are there herbs or plants that can really help people beat the heat?
Anything is in the mint family is probably your best bet, an easiest way to utilize for cooling us down. So peppermint tea, for example, making an iced tea out of peppermint will help cool you down, but it will also help you perspirate. So another healing aspect. So anything in the mint family, peppermint, catnip, even chamomile are great things to go for in the summer to cool you down.
Now, there's certain fruits or vegetables we should maybe steer clear of when it comes to maybe potential healing medicinal properties that we think, this is very beneficial, when in fact it might be more harmful?
There are herbs that you should be careful using if you don't know what you're doing, especially in large amounts. For example, pennypurse is an herb that can cause abortion. So, I mean, people used to take those in the old days. And so that's one thing that you really, really want to be careful for. There's some are herbs that can become poisonous if not utilized in the right way.
And maybe some poisonous mushrooms out there as well that we need to steer clear of, right?
Yes. And the thing is, if you don't know what you're looking for, you can take the wrong one and be in a lot of trouble. So it's very important to really identify and know what you're looking for and be 100% sure before you ingest anything.
Now, Cami, you seem to be a big supporter of mushrooms. Do you find that more people are not only growing their gardens outside, but maybe growing mushrooms inside or maybe somewhere else in their homes?
You can grow mushrooms in your garden. There's great videos and things that you can watch to buy your own mycelium to grow your own mushroom gardens. We also do grow kits in the store where you can take a grow kit home and you just open up the package and spray it every day and you'll start fruiting your own mushrooms in your house. And those have been really popular as of lately.
Cami Tanner is with Urban Apothecary here in Lethbridge. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you so much.